In 1997, Toyota introduced the Toyota Prius to the world. This is now 28 years later, and we are into the 5th generation of the Toyota Prius. We've seen numerous different variations from electrified to full hybrid, and we are now standing here. This is the 2025 Toyota Prius plug-in. We've seen technology advance through hybrid all the way to plug-in, and that technology is carried into all of our other models. The Prius is where all of our technology is refined, and then it's pushed through the entire lineup. And it's always really cool to get the opportunity to get our hands on one of these. It's an absolute halo car for Toyota. And I'm gonna go through the whole car with you today, show you the entire model, and really show you why Toyota takes care of this vehicle. They've always been made in Japan. Toyota's never allowed those vehicles to be produced anywhere else. They're made right there in the motherland, and it shows the whole way through the vehicle. Toyota was the first company to make a mass-produced electrified vehicle, and they're really, really proud of the Toyota Prius. In 2021, like I said, is when it became the plug-in variant, and we've carried that now into, we also have the RAV4 plug-in, and we're gonna continue to push that into more plug-in models, as well as in 26, we're gonna see a full electrified launch here in Ontario for Toyota. So it's a really big step for the brand, and I'm really excited to be here with a Toyota Prius plug-in today. My name is Nicholas Morrison with Forbes Waterloo Toyota. If you're in the market for a vehicle, come on down here to the dealership. We'll take you through the whole vehicle and make sure this is one that works for you. So we'll start right up front here on the Prius. This, like I said, is a 2025 Prius plug-in XSE trim level in that beautiful reservoir blue color. So it gets a few nice upgrades. The big thing is the next package up is where a lot of your tech comes, but this has just enough to get you around town while still offering, you know, that price point that makes sense for a lot of folks. So to start with a few things right away on the model, the XSE trim package is about a 65-kilometer electrified range. You'll be able to charge that fully overnight with somewhere between 7 to 9 hour charge rate on just a 120 outlet at your house. Or if you get up into a stage 2, you can reduce that all the way down to about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, if you can get a good amperage on a 240 outlet plug at your house. So great ability to use that for your daily driving. If you're getting around town, getting to school, taking the kids to sports, or just going grocery shopping, any of that, it has that ability. But the really, really cool thing about these plug-in hybrids at Toyota is then they still have that full hybrid range. So the vehicle on the gas combustion with that hybrid powertrain, you still have about 800 to 1,000 depending on your driving style. So that combination of the two really gives you that ability that on a day-to-day basis, you can essentially eliminate fuel costs. But then really, when you still need to go to the cottage, when you got to go down to Ottawa for a hockey tournament, whatever you got to do, you still have that full range, okay? So let's get into the vehicle. I'll chat through. If you have any questions, definitely drop them down below, but we'll definitely go through the vehicle together, guys. So right up front, one of the biggest things that I really like about this XSE package, you get these beautiful sweeping headlights. The Prius has done a really good job. In 2024 is when this remake was done that they came to this current gen, and it really, really shows those refinements. I love these new headlights that come to the front end. You've got the beautiful Toyota logos right up front. And then I like that the XSE adds a lot of these nice silver accenting colors all the way around, really accentuates with the blue. And then one thing that I think is really, really nice with these vehicles, a lot of folks are parking these, in parking garages in the city, metro type things. It's really big that this has the parking sensors. So I think on a mid-level that it gets added, I think is really, really great. Makes it very nice while you're getting around town. Still have those really nice big Prius head wipers. I've always thought that's a funny touch on the Prius, just how big those are on the nice front windshield. And they've kept that. For a lot of folks, they've always really liked the vision out the front. And then as you come down, the XSE is where we start to add a little bit of that really nice touch and make it a pretty car for a lot of folks. So you get the really nice 19-inch alloys with a good set of tires on there right from factory. And then coming down, you've got all your black accents. And I really like that on the XSE. You've got the color matched handles, but the black satin finish. I think that two-tone really, really works well. And it gives it that really sharp look. In my opinion, it's kind of funny. It makes it look fast. It's a good look on the vehicle. And then as we come down, you've got those kind of cool signature handles that Toyota puts on a few of our cars, really kind of hides that back end of the look and really puts a sharp appearance on it. And it's always kind of funny. We've got we always get asked what that knob or what that button is there on the back. It's just if the car dies, you can still get into the vehicle. It's kind of funny, but we always get asked. And then your handle's tucked away there for your back door to get into there as well. So we'll come around the back here. I'll show you a few things on the back of the vehicle, and then we'll hop in. We'll do the interior as well, okay? On the back of the Prius here, the one comment that we get a lot with the Prius that I think is important to touch on the back of the car here, these viewpoints coming out of the rear glass. So in 24, with that redesign, they worked quite a bit to change that viewpoint. Some of you folks will remember they used to have, a middle piece of glass in the middle with the bar on top of it. They've changed this design numerous times over the years to really try to help with those viewpoints, while also focusing first and foremost on fuel economy and some of those things. So definitely check that out for yourself. The comment I get mostly is that it's definitely improved over previous generations. Still a little frustrating for some people. If you haven't driven a Prius at all, some people still comment, coming from something they're used to, that it's definitely different. So see how that feels for yourself. On the back here, I really like the subtleness, the Prius logo right on the back, but the Toyota is kind of hidden. I think that's a cool touch that they put that away, and then you can hardly tell, but the XSE badging is there. I think that's kind of nice that they really focused on it being a Prius. Rather so much than a Toyota. And then on the back here, really cool touch that I like. You see this on some of our cars. They've got the since 1997 right on the bumper here. Of course, it'll be hidden behind your plate. You won't see it, but I think that's a really cool touch that Japan's putting on these cars. It's a big deal, especially for the Prius itself, being one of our longtime cars. So, and then inside the vehicle, so one thing the Prius offers is sort of being that hatchback style. You do have quite a bit of room here to play and do things like around the house if you need to move some stuff around. So, of course, your seats do go flat with that 60-40 split. I'm caught there on that front seat, but they will go flat there. You can, of course, put a cargo liner in there as well. A lot of folks do that on the accessories, really make it nice, old rubber back here. And then they do give you a few accessories. So you've got the tonneau cover. Of course, Toyota always gives you both sets of mats and that cargo liner. And then the most important thing with the Prius plug-in, of course, is we give you the stage 1 cord with the vehicle. So for plugging in at home, it's got everything on there, the indicator, it'll tell you if it's safe to charge, all of that, and you can use that right at home on a 120 outlet. So it's good that they give you that with the vehicle. You've got space to store it in the vehicle. You can bring it with you, use it at home, use it on the go. And you don't have to purchase that, which is nice. So a lot of folks, what we find with the Prius plug-in is they never actually go up to a stage 2 at all. A lot of folks will just stay with this stage 1 and run with that forever. So you have that choice, and we can kind of talk you through what makes sense. And then, of course, underneath, you still got some storage. The XSE trim level at least does have a run flat kit in Canada. We don't have a spare, but you do get the run flat kit, which is really nice with roadside assistance. Just let us take care of you. And then you do have one thing just to note that I think you did notice. You do have the manual liftgate here. The next model up is where you get that power liftgate. So we'll hop in the vehicle here and I'll show you the inside. Come on. So as I get in the Prius here, I'll show you my seating position. The Prius overall is a fairly low vehicle. That's one comment we get. You're kind of in that Corolla realm, maybe a Camry sort of area in terms of height. You are pretty low on the vehicle, so myself being a 6'5" guy, it is a bit of a step down, but I find overall, once I'm in the vehicle, I'm very comfortable. The next nice thing is the XSE model does have the full power options with the 10-way adjustable, so you really do have the ability to get comfortable. So I'll take a seat here and show you getting in. I really got to plant my leg and then really dive in there, close up the door, and overall, I am nice and comfortable. Like I said, you really do have the ability to get in here and find your space. I actually find the viewpoints overall really good in here. And I find especially myself over the Corolla, and you'll see those videos on our channel, I do have a bit more headroom here. I overall find myself fairly comfortable in here. I'm just gonna move this seat out of your way here so you can see a little better. The passenger side here does have the manual options. And one of the nicest things here for your passengers actually as well is they do get the height adjustment. So we get that comment a lot that not only do we offer you the seat movement, but the height is a big deal so that your passenger can actually get comfortable themselves as well. And then as you sit down here for the driver, the one thing I've always really liked about the Prius is it's a bit different, but they still keep you in a Toyota. So if you're somebody coming from one of our other models and this is your first time into a Toyota, it's really nice how you do have a little bit of that different display. You're seeing that in our EVs and stuff now. But overall, it's still very much home, which is good. It's good that it's not a large change, in my opinion. We don't want you to have to learn to drive a new car altogether. So as you go around the dash, the one thing first and foremost I always like to touch on is safety. So of course, this vehicle being the Prius, it's always going to have our largest and most advanced safety package. So the Prius plug-in does have Safety Sense 3.0. That's full adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring, automatic high beams, a pre-collision system, also rear cross traffic alert. But one of the big things that this vehicle takes on is you also get into the driver monitor camera and some of those premium features that come with that. So the traffic jam assist, which essentially is where that takes the cruise control and it makes it work fully on those highways, right down to 0 through all the traffic jams. And it's really refined at low speed, so it's not clunky. You don't find it very shaky, especially in these hybrids. That's a really nice step up, that it interacts really well with the regenerative braking and stuff like that at low speeds. So that's a really nice touch with that. And then the other one with that is it also comes with the automatic lane changing assist. So on the highway, it can automatically switch lanes for you. So a really nice step up in terms of safety. And then the other part that I like that sometimes isn't talked about is it also keeps an eye on you. So if you're driving down the road, if anything were ever to happen to you, we all say we're healthy and all of that, and it won't. But if something does happen, it's nice that it'll take care of you and do what it can to help make you safe. So a really nice touch in this vehicle. And then in terms of comfort, this vehicle offers you quite a bit for, like I said, that kind of mid-level. You do have heated seats on both front seats here, as well as the heated steering wheel. And the Prius is one of the first ones here that has the full perimeter steering wheel. So for everybody that does the 12 on top steering wheel, you do get the heat up there, which is really nice. A lot of our first generation Toyotas only have the heated steering wheels on the side, so that's a huge step up. And then I personally really like, as you come through your climate options, Toyota's still, even in a Prius that we're saying is fancy and all of that, they've still given you tactile buttons that feel really good. You know exactly what you're touching. One thing too to note is your mirrors are heated in the Prius, and that's on your rear defogger button. So you'll see that here in the middle. And then as you come through the vehicle, the nice thing is they give you just enough tech, but not too much. So some of those folks, like I said, there is that XSE tech pack above this. So for folks that want to have some things, like, you like the bigger screen, this has the 12-inch screen, really shows up well with the CarPlay and Android Auto. It's nice that it has that. And then as you come down, you've got a lot of your charge points all the way through the vehicle. One thing that we commonly get asked is this is the one spot you do get the bigger screen, but we do not get premium audio on this package. That does come with the next trim up, so that is a common one. But you do have the nice 12-inch screen, which I think works really well. Like I said, all of your CarPlay, Android Auto, all of that will be fully wireless. As soon as you get in the car, it'll Bluetooth connect on. We do have a video on our channel, so definitely check that out. And it works really well as well with all of your connected services and stuff like that. So you have your remote starter and all of that can do both things. One really good thing that I want to touch on too while we're looking at the screen here is an important thing here with the Prius plug-in, of course, is the ability to do your charging schedule. So here on the screen, you can go through, you can either do it through the screen or you can actually do it through the connected services on your phone. Create an entire schedule where you can have it designed to charge overnight on your low power. You can have it be ready for you every day at work, that you can even get climatized for you. Can kind of go through that whole schedule to really make sure that not only are you charging on the cheapest time, but also that the car is always ready for you. You're not waiting for charging, you're not leaving the house without that charge or anything like that. So really important. We can go through all of that. We do have a video on the channel as well to kind of talk about that. But that's a big deal with the EV transition, is understanding the charging and taking your time with that. So I always like to quickly touch on that. That is right here in the screen for you. And then as you go down is where you get in a little bit of the meat and the potatoes here with the Prius plug-in. So I'll spend a bit of time here talking about some of your drive mode stuff. The cool thing with the Prius plug-in is you have the ability to drive it in a full, while you have a charge, let's start there, while you have a full EV charge, you have the ability to drive completely electric. For that time, the vehicle can go all the way up to 130 kilometers an hour. It can go all the way through town. It can do everything you need it to do for that 65 kilometers range that I talked about on the XSE model. From there, it'll transition into a complete hybrid and run like a normal Prius would. So you'd have your transition between gas and hybrid, and it'll run that way for the rest while you have fuel until you charge again. You also have the choice where you can run it as a hybrid right away and save that charge until later in the day. So maybe you're going down to Toronto, maybe you're in the city, maybe you're down in the States doing something where you're going to be in town, and maybe you have a long drive to get there on the highway, where on the highway you're really not going to notice much of a difference. The vehicle already is very efficient on the highway, so maybe it's worth holding that charge and running it as a hybrid until you get to the city, and then use your electric charge where it might go a bit further for you and you'll be able to get better range out of it. Or the final thing you can do, if you have a commute where you're more than that 65 kilometers and you won't be able to recharge at work, then you can just put it in auto and let it take that charge as far as it can. So if there's situations where while you're merging on the highway, if you're passing somebody, whatever, that it's an excessive use of power, then it will use the combustion engine for that and save that power on the electric to make that electrical further for you. So really cool, and that's something that's a lot to explain in one video, but definitely watch more videos on the channel about that. We spend time when you pick up the car going through all of that with you, but it is very cool just the abilities that they give you with these plugins to use it the way that works best for you. That's the long and the short of it. So a really good system there. And then of course the nice thing is the Prius plug-in in 2024, when they did redesign it, one of the biggest things, I haven't talked about it yet, is they added 220 horsepower to this vehicle. Sorry, didn't add, they got to 220 horsepower. So quite a big deal. Really over the previous models, the comment we got a ton was that they kind of felt go-karty-ish when you merge on the highway and all of that. It really struggled. So not only do you have all those options with the plug-in stuff like that, but that extra power really goes a long way for drivability. It really improves it. In my opinion, the previous model didn't feel that great. Sometimes get on the highway and stuff like that if you did want to pass. And if you're just trying to drive normally and not worry so much about fuel economy, it struggled for that. Whereas I find now they've really realized that fuel economy is important and people really do care about that, but there's also people that want to enjoy the drive at that same time. So they've really focused on both, I think is a big point. And with that, you also have the ability here with the drive modes. So you can switch between the eco, the sport, and your normal, like you can in a lot of the Toyotas now. And with that 220 horsepower, it feels pretty good, especially on that full electric mode. So I definitely suggest, if you haven't had the chance to drive a Prius, or if you drove one of the old ones and didn't like the drive, definitely come check out this new one. It's a huge improvement. And I really want to stop quickly and talk about that because it's a big deal, in my opinion, how much they did step up. So I'll leave that alone for now. We'll go around the cabin here a bit more. The XSE is where we get a few extra nice creature comforts. So I think you did notice we do have the Softex, that's one. And then you do also get the moonroof above you, I think is really nice. And one cool thing with the Prius is it's actually a double pane. So both your front and your rear passengers both get access to it. But one comment is it does not open. So it's just for nice, opening up the air, opening up the light, sorry, but you do not get that air. So kind of a nice touch though. I like that it's in both. And then other than that, around you, some of the last few things I like to touch on. One thing is always our heated wiper blades. We do have that on the front there. That button's here on the side, little creature comforts for you. But this vehicle does have an outlet for a 120 plug. And that button is right here down on your left. So if you're searching for that, if you do try to plug something to the vehicle, a cooler or anything like that, that button is down here on your left. So we commonly get that where people plug it in and it's not working. Just make sure you come and hit that indicator button. Thank you very much for watching the video here on our channel. Click the link below to get the conversation started about your next Toyota purchase. The best part of shopping for your Toyota is coming out to the dealership and taking one of these lovely vehicles for a drive yourself. We've been in business over 75 years here in Waterloo. Come on down to Forbes Waterloo Toyota and help us help you get your next Toyota. Thank you very much for watching.